This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes. Hey everyone, welcome here on YouTube. I'll be showing here a video about the Hackaday Prize Challenge. It's an annual challenge that they have, and monetary prizes. And yeah, here's the most recent one. So glad to see everyone here.
Hey everyone, it's Magento. Welcome to the 2021 Hackaday Prize Entry Update. Challenge 4 is Redefine Robots. It's all about creating useful helpers to get the job done and building robotic pals to hang out with, which, seeing as it's kind of hard to make friends in person these days, I really appreciate. General purpose, remote-controlled, mobile robot is just what it sounds like. A tracked robot with a gripper, good for mock Mars missions in your backyard, tending to the garden, or any other tasks around the house. Well, maybe not the dishes. Not sure if that would go very well. This simple yet familiar design is fitted with various sensors to measure temperature, as well as a rangefinder to check out the local terrain. Think of it like a DIY Curiosity rover, only several $1 billion less expensive. StackChan is a palm-sized bot with a screen for a face. It can blink and look all around the room. This could either be comforting or horrifying. I'll let you be the judge. Thanks to an OLED display, there are plenty of face options, a clever use of the technology to be sure. Should I say OLED? Do people say OLED or OLED? Roamer is a simple bot that wanders around and charges itself when it tires. Totally relatable. This project uses capacitors for power and sort of emulates a pet or a living being because it just does its own thing unattended. Now, if we could just get it to write my emails, we'd be in business. Tardigrade is a little walker built with 3D printed parts, and I'm so grateful it doesn't look like an actual tardigrade. A creative mechanism with just 2 motors allow full locomotion and steering. This bot also has a provision for laser time of flight sensors to allow for autonomous exploration. The jury's still out on whether it can survive in the vacuum of space like a real tardigrade, but my money is on yes? Targrade. Pond Skater explores the aquatic realm, hunting for data on climate change. Not all heroes wear capes. Pond Skater is a solar-powered robot that lives in the pond to monitor it at the source, and utilizes twin cameras via an underwater optical spectrometer and water wheels to get the job done. Looks to be a very early stage project, but a very interesting concept that, dare I say, has legs. ZeroBug is a Raspberry Pi powered hexapod, and another reminder that the Raspberry Pi can do just about anything with the right imagination. 6 legs run by servos with a pincer gripper allow it to interact with its environment. And because I bet you were dying to know, it is indeed capable of very slowly putting sugar in coffee. Hold your applause. Beethoven plays the xylophone better than most of us. Using servos to swing mallets at the xylophone, they're actuated at different rotational speeds to vary the dynamics of each note. Okay, Beethoven, pretty impressive, but what else can you play? CM6 is a robotic arm designed to do real useful work. Cheap, safe, and compliant 6, it can handle significant loads for desktop-scale operations, up to 1 kilogram without any problems. Brushless DC gimbal motors allow for high torque, and 3D printed parts mean anyone can build and tweak the design. Next up is the Reactivate Wildcard Challenge. What projects do you have that don't fit in a neat, tidy box, but are doing really groundbreaking stuff? Let your ideas run free with this one. We can't wait to see what you all come up with.
All right, yeah, thank you for watching. That was the Hackaday Prize Video 2021 update here. They do an annual challenge. They do quite a few a year. Yeah, Supply Frame owns them, I believe, Hackaday. So a really cool company, hackaday.com. A lot of really cool info there. So yeah, let's get into things here. This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
P.
Hey, good evening, Bob. Everyone here in the chat will get you checked in here. Had you guys on mute there. Sorry about that. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time?
W0TX repeater.
You can contact us via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com. We also post info at groups.io/g/ham learningnet, as well as stream and archive our nets and our meetings on youtube.com. You can search for us with our club's call sign W0TX or my call sign K1DBC. This is K1DBC Net Control. We begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now. I can get you checked in.
Alpha Echo Zero Golf Quebec AE0 GQ Tom and Aurora.
WD0 CIV, WD0 CIV, Charles in Denver. Check in.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Go holding up there for just a moment. Elmer Committee, you know, I'm not too sure on that. I don't know. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following Elmers: AE0GQ Tom, and not sure if you meant to check in at the time at that moment, but WD0CIV Charles, I got you checked in as well for general or as an Elmer. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Once more, if you'd like to check in as an Elmer, with or without traffic, all Elmers, please check in now. All right. We also had Whiskey Alpha 4, Mike Bravo Golf, Bob, check in online from Florida. Appreciate you checking in online. So yeah, you're more than welcome to check in at any time online. So at this moment, I'll go ahead and we'll take regular check-ins. Regular check-ins will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That is the first letter after the number in your call sign. If you can, please try to use IT phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have traffic questions as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Lima Alpha India K0 LEI, Larry in Lakewood. K6HJV Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor Tom Arvada, no traffic. Kilo Fox 0 Alpha Alpha Kilo Ed in Arvada, no traffic.
W0 Foxtrot Foxtrot Charlie, Cherry and Lone Tree, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Whiskey Charlie Brian Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
All right, this is net control. We'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. This is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins: K0LAI Larry, K6HJV Tom, KF0AAK Ed, W0FFC Jerry, and KF0AWC Brian. Thank you all for checking in. Once more, if your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, and you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, please check in with your call sign if you can using IT Phonetics, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now. Thanks again, everyone, for watching here on YouTube. Appreciate the you all coming back and more subscribers. And I know I'm not a typical YouTuber, but thanks all for being here, and I can happy to share all this content with you here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll go ahead and open up the whole alphabet. If your suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please check in now.
Golf 5, Papa Delta Foxtrot, Jake.
Kilo Delta 0, Whiskey Papa Quebec, Tom and Aurora, no traffic. November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening. November 0, Echo Yankee Zulu, Jim in South Jeffco.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. KG5 PDF, Jake. I think there was a double in there. It may have been Barb, W0BKS. And then we had KD0, WPQ, Tom. N0TRP, Jim. And N0EYZ, Jim. Thank you all for checking in. Once more, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. If you'd like to check in for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, please call now. We're taking all call suffixes.
For the count, over.
This is K1DBC Net Control. Sorry, there was a call in there just for the count, but I didn't hear your call sign or your name. If you want to try once more, go ahead.
This is Kilo Delta 0 Foxtrot Kilo India Lewis from Arvada. For the count, over.
W0TX Repeater.
Way above my pay grade. Way above my pay grade there. Yeah. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Just for the count, Lewis, KD0FKI, got you checked in. Thank you for checking in. Appreciate it. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. There's plenty of opportunities to check into the net. Any down part of the conversation where there's nothing going on, feel free to check in at that point. You're always more than welcome to check in online on YouTube. Again, you can search for our call sign W0TX Whiskey 0 Tango X-Ray, or my call sign K1DBC, and I can always check you in on there. I didn't see anybody indicate that they had traffic, so I'll throw it out. Are there any other check-ins or traffic or anything else at the moment? Please call down.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Cannon Broomfield, checking in.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think we may have had a double in there, but I had K0YES Ken. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else that had checked in at the moment, or anyone else had checked in, tried to check in there, and I didn't call your call sign, try to call back now. Go ahead.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Papa November. This is Jeff in Evergreen, KF0 BBN.
All right, and that time we had KF0 BPN. Jeff, thank you for checking in as well. This is K1DBC Net Control. I have a few things I can pass. I didn't see anybody else had indicated they had traffic or questions. I see a lot of participation here on YouTube. Appreciate that. Again, I'm just kind of showing behind the scenes of check-ins and some other behind the scenes of some amateur radio activities other people are doing. I can bring up some things, but anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else at the moment? Go ahead. Right here, we are just browsing reddit.com/r/amateur radio. Yeah, definitely appreciate all the likes, all the subscribes. And everything helps. So appreciate everyone being on here. So let's see, I'll throw it out here in the net again. This is K1DBC Net Control. Again, this is the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Just a general conversation about ham radio, electrical engineering, computer science, STEM, S.t.e.m. The world's our oyster, really. We have a lot of tendrils into a lot of hobbies and a lot of professions. So if you have any comments, questions, any projects you're working on, anything you want to bring up for the net, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. No problem. I can get things started here. There's plenty of stuff going on here. Well, I guess first of all, I guess I could rewind just a little bit from what I was going to say there. Well, it's not on here. The W0TX Club this past Wednesday actually had our meeting presented by Alex Schwartz, VE7 DXW on RF earthquakes and the seismology tools he's got working there. So some technical issues, but YouTube video online. We also had our meeting elections, or officer elections, and we had Mark N0XRX elected to an officer role, I believe. So really glad to see that. Some new blood a little bit, and hopefully we can, not stir things up too much, but, help things along a little bit. So let me drop here for a moment. That rolls into, because he also presented in another conference, or a conference over the weekend, the ARRL Tapper DC 2021 Talks. It was a conference held September 17th through the 18th. Stream talks on YouTube. many SDR and RF related talks with a focus on ham radio science, various updates on the development of software-defined radio for citizen science experiments, talks on development of magnetometer boards for citizen science, as well as other talks regarding ham radio. So on their YouTube, Tapper Digital, you can find, they have some 8-9 hour talks over the last couple of days here with all of their presentations on there. They may break them up, but I believe Alex Schwartz was also presenting on one of these as well. So really cool stuff. Let me bring up their website as well to get the exact talks here. Alex, specifically VE7DXW, who gave a presentation to our club last week, gave a talk at this conference, Propagation by Plate Tectonics in the Moon. Plenty of other talks, though. Ham Science, Today's Community, Observations of Mid-Latitude Irregularities using Oblique Isonode Sounding Mode for Ham Sci Personal Space, HF Doppler Observations. So plenty of some heady talks, but really cool stuff. Using software-defined radio and, yeah, really cool stuff there. This is K1DBC Net Control. I'll give a moment. Anybody else have any other comments, questions, anything about anything brought up so far, anything else you'd like to bring up, or any other check-ins at the moment, please call now.
Fox 0 Alpha Alpha Kilo Ed here in Arvada. A shout out to Mark Thomas, who gave me a great Elmer session after that Wednesday night session that I participated in. Great thanks to Mark. But I do have a question. I'm talking to you on a handheld transceiver, and obviously I'm new. I'm on the Learning Net, and I've got Repeater Book on my phone. So as I'm traveling around, I'm wondering if I'm in an area where I don't have a cell signal, but I do want to check what repeaters are nearby. I'm sure there's a way I can get that app downloaded and working based upon my GPS location, irrespective of whether or not it's pinging a cell tower. And I'm wondering if this is a forum where I could find that out, or should I wait and find that out through some other time?
KF0AAK Ed, great question there. Yeah, glad Mark was able to help you out there. That's yeah, he's an awesome guy. Really helpful to all of us. So Repeater Book app, I haven't used too much. That feature, what you're asking for, it sounds like something that should be available in a modern phone. I can say that probably some of those kind of features that you're looking for, creature comforts, are probably missing in some of the ham radio related apps and things like that, just because of the hobby seems to lend itself, for the longest time at least, to some older developers. So that makes total sense. It'd be awesome if the Repeater Book app could just detect where you're at and just bring up the repeaters available to you based upon a filter list that you have. I haven't used it, so I don't know if it's capable or not capable of that. But I'd imagine it's probably maybe just limited, and that's just not a feature available. I don't know, though. Anybody use the Repeater Book app or any other ham radio repeater apps that allow you to automatically, based upon your GPS, have repeaters listed to you? Go ahead. This is K1DBC Net Control. I guess, to be fair, on the Android app page for Repeater Book, by the developer of ZBM2, at least, software, it looks like they have this little mention of use GPS for search, more or less. So I don't know. It looks like it should be able to do that. Yeah, I guess I'm looking at some of the screenshots here. It looks like it should be able to, based on your location, be able to do that. I haven't tried it, but I might be able to try to bring that up on my phone this evening. But if you're just talking about, I guess, repeaterbook.com, I don't know actually if I'm talking about their official app now that I am probably mentioning that. But if you want to go ahead, Ed, KF0AAK, go ahead.
Yeah, KF0AAK. I might be asking more of a app question for a IT contact that I may have. I don't know that that's necessarily a ham radio question, but I thought somebody on here might know. But I haven't had to use it away from a cell tower yet, so I haven't. Who knows? It might come up and just work the way it's designed. I'm not sure, but I thought I'd ask.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Oh, okay, I see. I think I see what you're saying now. Offline usage of the app, not necessarily just GPS location. Yeah, I mean, one of my other hobbies is geocaching, and there are ways. I mean, you can get handheld GPS units and load offline GPS things to that. Let's see, somebody else said something here. Okay, yeah, you could sort by distance. Yeah, okay. Yeah, hopefully you could download potentially a list of repeaters potentially, very similar to how you would to a radio potentially, especially all the settings you would need to program into a radio. Hopefully you could download that somehow to your Android phone, potentially through that app, and have it offline based on maybe a future GPS location that you're going to be at or something like that, a trip planner type thing. Or, but great question there, Ed. Very good.
Well, I mean, most of the time I'd be planning where I'm going, and I could get online and check what repeaters I wanted to hit in advance. So I guess I was asking more of a contingency plan if I found myself somewhere where I didn't know I was going to be needing to make contact and trying to use that app. So, yeah, most of the time I would know ahead of time, I guess, if you were planning a trip somewhere.
All right, good question. Yeah, I was thinking of another product here that recently came out, the RFinder. It's kind of like an Android phone with built-in DMR radio, but it still needs, I think, networking functionality to get that stuff. I don't know if it always has an offline capability, but yeah, no, there's that's a good question. It'd be nice to have some pairing for our memory limited FM radios or not or whatever, to be able to kind of on the fly easily more program these radios. So yeah, very cool.
Thank you much. Even just having this contact I'm in my first 10 contacts. I'm brand new, so even just having this conversation has helped me. So appreciate the time of all the Elmers and yourself helping us out tonight.
All right, there, AAK Ed. This is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, no problem. This is a hobby adjacent, and we're more than happy to discuss that. A lot of overlaps between IT support and public radio, public safety support, and ham radio, and yeah, a lot of knowledge to delve in here. So very cool. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess I'll just take this opportunity to officially take further check-ins. If you've just tuned in, my name is Daron, call sign K1DBC. Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net, a general on-air meeting for radio amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to help us. Just general STEM, s.t.e.m, electrical engineering, computer science. If you're working on any projects, don't hesitate to check in. A lot of help here. So if there is anyone who wishes to check in at this time, excuse me, please do so your call sign, your name, and state if you have any traffic or questions for the net. Please call now. All right, once more, this is K1DBC Net Control. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Kilo Golf 5, Papa Delta Foxtrot. I'd like to further the conversation there.
Yeah, sounds good. KG5 PDF. Go ahead.
I had to step out for a minute, so forgive me if somebody already mentioned what I'm about to throw out there. But he's got a really good point there, having that offline capability, and which Google Maps does do for sure. And but it does not appear that Repeater Book has already built that in. That would be something that is entirely possible, but reading some of this looks like they primarily curate their directory. It's not they're not just reading one particular database from somebody. So that's something that don't know if maybe they've already thought of that and just haven't quite got there, but that would be cool. KG5 PDF.
All right, KG5 PDF. This is K1DBC. Yeah, I'd have to check into this a little bit more. Looking at their website, specifically Zulu Bravo Mike 2 ZBM2.com. Yeah, so it is powered by repeaterbook.com. Yeah, I don't know if they do some pre-filtering, so they may not be showing you everything. Yeah, I'm not too sure on that. They do have a mention here of no network connection required, but to what extent, I don't know, and how easy it is to use. And it also mentions cat support, so you could potentially also program it from your phone itself. So, yeah, nice simple solution to be able to program your radio on the fly from the field without a network connection, is a really nice solution. Would be a nice solution to have. Yeah, it just depends on the feature set and the limited nature of some of these apps, unfortunately. So, yeah, thanks for the follow-up on that, PDF, Jake. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I'll have to try to dig into this a little bit more if anybody else has time. Basically, if you have it says Android only at the moment, but if you have an Android phone, and they're showing an iPhone here, but and a OTG on-the-go cable, which is a breakout cable for male micro USB, mini USB to female USB-A, just generic USB. You could plug in a regular programming cable from your phone to your radio and potentially program it. It looks like it's for Yaesu FT857, 817, 897, FT100D, and ICOM 700 and 7100, or 7000, 7100. So yeah, definitely try these things out, because programming your things on the fly can prove a little bit of difficulty sometimes. So if there's an easier solution, definitely try it out. But know that there's probably some limitations.
Kilo 50 Alpha Alpha Kilo. Of course, I'm on an iPhone and a Baofeng, so I'm not on the same page you're on. But there may be a solution, and I'll poke around and see what I can find out as well.
All right, sounds good there, AAK Ed. This is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, it's limited to certain things, and yeah, this is kind of newer features, new feature sets, and abilities to our devices to augment these radios that are 10, 15, 20 years old, potentially, some of them, and it's bringing our older technology into our newer modern day. Just requires some bootstrapping and some good thinking to come up with these ideas. And ham radio is such a niche hobby that we unfortunately very rarely see some of these more modern day features. So yeah, no worries. So yeah, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, great topic there about ease of use programming for your radios. Anybody else on that? Anything we've spoken about so far? Please call now. Gotcha there, Tom. Sounds good.
A0GQ.
Yeah, A0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
This isn't a great solution, but one thing you might possibly consider is going ahead and hitting repeaterbook.com on the web. They allow you to export their database. Obviously, you want to select something a little closer to like Colorado as an Excel spreadsheet, and most cell phones will let you actually read an Excel spreadsheet. So, as I say, that's a pretty ugly solution, but that may sort of work.
Yeah, 0AAK. That sure would. You know, in my mind, I'm imagining last year there was a huge pileup across Wyoming that I was nearly in, but I'm just envisioning out in some remote place, you're in a ditch, and what do you do? And your solution there certainly would work for that.
At least it'll give you a shot at it. And they have, the one, by the way, I'm looking at, drone, is www.repeaterbook.com/repeaters. It's free, so you can go download everything. And as I say, it might be a little ugly, but at least it would get you in the right ballpark. And so that may get you there. AE0GQ, back to net.
This K1DBC net control, yeah, A0GQ, yeah, brings up a great point there. Yeah, you know, if you have a laptop available, yeah, you can export these things as long as you have a login to Excel, and then you can you'll have all the repeaters you need to be able to program them. You know, it's almost the cleanest solution you can kind of have nowadays with some of our programming. You know, it can get somewhat uglier, but you know, it's kind of what's expected nowadays a little bit with this. So yeah, just a plain old laptop, a programming cable, and whatever programming software of your choice. Yeah, and repeaterbook.com. Yeah, good call there.
PDF.
Yeah, KG5 PDF. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's right there. I've never exported out of RepeaterBook. I've been known to use RFinder a lot, radio reference. But it does look like when you do an export out of there, it gives you the lat lons for those machines, as well as location and county. So, especially the lat lons, they're a person who knew how to build Google Maps could probably import an entire state. Right now, I have the entire state of Colorado, all bands, in like a 20-page Excel file now. And there are ways to import that stuff into Google Earth. Is what I was actually meant. We use some of that stuff at work. I guess the challenge would be getting the software to look at this data somehow or the other. And like I said, that should be a walk in the park for the people who deal with mapping systems.
All right, KG5 PDF. Yeah, great information there. Yeah, if you have any experience working with Google Maps, just the latitude and longation, importing it to Google Map and correlating some of your information might make it an easy thing of just downloading a Google offline map, and then you'd have all your repeater coordinates on there, or repeater information on there too. So, yeah, good follow up on that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I have a few more things I can bring up, but does anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess I can pass another thing here or two, and we can hop back to the net here in just a moment. Tom, A0GQ did bring something up, and I can call back on him in here in just a minute. Let's see. So, yeah, we talked about the TAPR ARL Digital Communications Conference. Another conference over the weekend was the, let's see here, the GNU Radio GRC Con 21. So, a lot of videos, few videos, but 8 to 9 hours per piece, and they had a lot of talks. Let me see if I can bring up their main page here. Oh, this works, actually. I guess in the description here of the YouTube, they have broken down links of each talk, which is nice. They have organizational update about their... so GRCCon is an annual GNU radio conference, first held in 2011. Stellar program and engaging events. Our attendees report an extremely high satisfaction level year after year. So let's see, GRC, GNU Radio and s.t.e. collaboration, s.t.e. pipeline, reverse engineering smart meters, which is pretty interesting. A lot of us, some of us are getting smart meters installed recently. Radio resilience, which was a capture the flag, kind of a hacker competition. So a lot of cool information over on their YouTube GNU Radio. Let me try to bring up the conference page as well here. Okay, yeah, it's just GNU, as in golf, November, or uniform, radio.org. They have it right on the front page there. More info about their conference. So a lot of cool stuff here. It's actually going through from September 20th through September 24th. So still going online. So a lot of cool chat information on there as well.
W0TX repeater.
This is K1DBC Net Control. I guess briefly talking about smart meters. There was a recent post on my nextdoor.com page. So nextdoor.com is just a hyper-local kind of community thing. So this is just a post within kind of the Inglewood, Colorado area here. It's just a satirical post, and I just wanted to bring some science into it. So I just dropped in some links to them. If they wanted to get some more info on smart meters. So Excel recently started installing some smart meters, and let me drop and bring up some info on that here real quick. So these are utility meters put in by power companies and other organizations, power, water, any public utilities. Oh, and I'll get to hear Michelle here in just a minute. Sorry about that. And on the ISM band, industrial science and medical band, 900 megahertz is one of them. It's also 433 megahertz and and 2.4 and 5.8, our regular Wi-Fi bands, are also in ISM band. So put a link in there for that, as well as just an interesting talk or article from hackaday.com from 2020 titled "Radio's Sordid History of Being Blamed for Everything." So as you know, 5G and different RF infrastructure that's being installed throughout the world is being met with resistance from the public. So it just goes into showing how this came about and how it's kind of stemmed from even early Marconi days. So yeah, really cool stuff on there. So yeah, I see a couple of other people in here. Let me drop and acknowledge them. Appreciate that. All right, sorry about that. So we had online late check-in KE0SUM Jonathan. Appreciate you checking in online. And then we also had Michelle, KE0RLQ with some traffic, so I'll get back to you here in just a minute. And I apologize for missing that last week. This is K1DBC Net Control. Let me drop here for a moment. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, so I apologize for being a little bit late on posting things on our groups.io. I'm a little bit better on the YouTube. So if you ever have any questions about what was discussed or any links, it's often in the YouTube description or in the video itself. So K0RLQ, if you want to check in over the air, feel free to do so. I don't know if you can, but feel free to put your question in the... the question is... any recommendations for setting up a station in a garden level condo? Great question there. Yeah, we often have that come up. We also have A0GK Fred checking in here as well. So anybody have any recommendations for KE0RLQ on recommendations for setting up a station in a ground level condo? Go ahead.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead with the question, Jonathan, KE0SUM.
K0SUM, I hope they can check in. You have to really know radio, antenna, HF, VHF. It's a little too vague of a question, so I hope you get a little more information. KE0SUM back in that.
Great question there, K0SUM. Yeah, so Michelle, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right as well here. So yeah, what bands would you like to operate? 2 meters, 70 centimeter? Would you like to get on HF? It sounds like there might be, if there's a a place to put up an antenna outside, yeah, there might be some ability to get on HF as well. So do you have any rigs set up at the moment, or any stations, or what kind of information, or what sort of traffic would you like to pass? Let's see, technician license. So yeah, let's see here. All right, they're trying to get in with HT at the minute. No patio balcony, unfortunately. Yeah, HT. Let's see if I can try to bring up. Where are you at? Located at approximately? Yeah, sorry. It's. Let me see if I can do this here. And I think.
SUM question.
Sorry, yeah, K0SUM, go ahead.
I say she's in Westminster with an HT. Boy, oh boy, we should be able to get her if she can program in the repeater. Most HTs with a standard ducky might hit this repeater or a number of other ones, so no reason she shouldn't get on the air just trying with an HT. Just my thought. KE0SUM, back to net.
All right, Jonathan, K0SUM, this is K1DBC. Let's see what we got here. I just moved away from that. Yeah, Westminster, able to check in a couple weeks ago, but having problem with the FT70D. Yeah, we're not hearing anything if you're ever trying to check in. And if we're getting your gender wrong, I do apologize. I've looked you up on LinkedIn and SparkFun, but definitely let us know if we're getting anything wrong here. We don't want to be misgendering anybody, but let's see. Yeah, just 145490 and 144. Let's see, .890 for transmit. No need for the PL tone during this net, but yeah, as long as you have 145.490 for receive and 144.890 for transmit, you should be okay. And it might look a little bit different in some radios. You might program the offset itself, which is 600 kilohertz. But Westminster, you should be able to hit our repeater. I know we've had some people coming in from there before, so let me go back to the chat here, and I'll throw it back out to the net. Anybody from Westminster or have any other information? Go ahead.
I will comment that her Yaesu FT70 does offset automatically. It has automatic offset.
Okay, gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, so that should make things a bit easier there. So, yeah, I don't know. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that probably just a typical 5-watt handheld receiver. So as long as you have access or kind of line of sight, more or less, to the repeater, which is at Centennial Cone, just outside of Genesee, just north of Genesee. It has pretty good coverage, so yeah, I'm not too sure.
AE0GQ.
Yeah, AE0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
I know that this must be incredibly frustrating for you, Michelle, that you can only respond back in YouTube. And so it does have one advantage. It's going to get all these slackers into watching YouTube channels so we can see both sides of the conversation. Going to let it drop for a moment.
W0TX repeater.
However, you said you were able to get in a couple weeks ago. Were you outside when that happened? That's my first question that you could answer. The second thing is, are you expecting this? I think you might be considering wanting to do something that is not permanent, but something that wouldn't be a horrible mess to set up. In other words, it would work in the winter when you want to get on a net, but it's not going to be stuck outside your window forever. Is that a fair question to ask? And I'll look for your answer on the YouTube, AE0GQ.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sure it's probably difficult to only be able to respond one way there like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is our coverage map for that repeater specifically. All right, this is K1DBC. Yeah, absolutely. I'll give them some time here to respond back. Yeah, hopefully, or depending on your setup and your needs. Yeah, sometimes some temporary solution that you could take down potentially, and it's certainly not have to be permanent. Might be easier to use, especially in that type of a situation. So yeah, an inside antenna that you could take down kind of at will. It was for temporary use. We've had people check in and mention that they've laid out cable line within their apartment or building itself. Yeah, I guess we'll try to do some live troubleshooting. So, yeah, good question there, Jonathan. So, yeah, are you able to hear us right now on 145.490? Yeah, let us know when you get a moment here. I'll drop and let me see here. All right, perfect. So, answer to the first question there. They're looking at the options for either way, really. Thinking of magnetic antenna or a mobile transceiver. So yeah, maybe an option that they could maybe shift into a mobile solution potentially as well. So anybody know of any good options that you could potentially use any mobile radios with mobile setup indoors? Let's see, in regards to the second question, they're only just hearing a bunch of static, unfortunately. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. You might try 448.625 or 70 centimeter repeater and see if that's any different. So this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it back out to the net.
PDF.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Real quick, one more thing from Michelle online here. K0RLQ mentioned last time they checked in was from the same spot they're at now, which is indoors. Yeah, KG5 PDF. Jake, go ahead.
So yeah, this KG5 PDF coming to you from a pizza pan and a mag mount dual band. Maybe a little more than what's required, but it helps a lot getting into the more distant machines and makes up for not having having so many obstructions and whatnot. So that's always got my vote. And my friend in Amarillo, he made the transition to a roll-up J-pole hanging on his dining room wall, and that made a world of difference for him too, particularly on the receive side. It did a lot better than the quarter wave ground plane that he had sitting on his kitchen table. And then that was all it took to bring him into our repeater circle. KG5 PDF.
All right, KG5 PDF. This is K1DBC. Yeah, great suggestions there. Yeah, I'd like to hear about that roll-up J-pole. Yeah, that's another good option there. Seems like it's made for potentially lightweight usage for hiking, but can definitely be easily converted into indoor usage and a more portable setup. Yeah, very, very cool to hear about that. Yeah, so a portable roll-up J-pole might be something you could check into there, Michelle, as well. So let me see as well. Tom Frakes mentioned knows of a person that uses a mag antenna on a cookie sheet that he tosses out a window when he wants to use the nets. And flexible Sage J-pole he mentioned as well as another solution, second as well for that. So yeah, good to hear on those suggestions there. The net. This is K1DBC Net Control. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I don't use it too much. I do have a Discord, which is kind of like a Skype, group Skype, if you will, and I've never really used it. So if you do want to get your voice heard on the air and you're not able to make the radio, I might be able to start firing that up. I think there is a link on our groups.io. It's not really used, but if you can't make it to the repeater, but you'd still like your voice on the air, I might start to bring that up and might that have that as a solution. So yeah, great points there, PDF and Tom and everyone else. Just got to keep trying, and you should definitely be able to hit the repeater, and just got to keep trying. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. We are nearing the end of our net. Don't have a hard stop at 1 hour, but normally ends around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. That being said, though, more than happy to roll over a bit. So with that, I probably can bring up a couple more things here, but are there any other, at the moment, any other check-ins, comments, questions, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. This is K1DBC Net Control. I think there was a double in there. I had A0GQ Tom, and then there was somebody else. If you just try to call in and I didn't call your call sign, go ahead and call back with your call sign and name.
That was me, S.t.e.m.
All right, sounds good, K0SUM. All right, we'll go with Tom A0GQ, and then after that, we'll throw it over to Jonathan K0SUM. So Tom A0GQ, and it is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Daron. I think probably a large number of people have gone out and purchased the Nano VNAs from Amazon or Banggood or whatever. There's a little fuming and fussing about the ownership and that sort of thing. However, there is I believe he's Russian, a user who goes by the handle Dislord, D-I-S-L-O-R-D, who has written some beautiful upgrades to the software. And they work on practically all of them, except I don't think they work on the Nano VNA apps. I'm going to let it drop. However, if you would like to upgrade your Nano VNA, I would suggest that you join a groups.io organization group called Nano VNA-users. I warn you, there's several of them out there, but if you join that one, doesn't cost you anything. There's a lot of good conversation that you might find interesting, but also you can find several guides on upgrading your software, and more to the point, you can find a zip package of the software for all of them that are supported that you can download and use to upgrade your Nano VNA. He has added a considerable amount. For example, it goes from the originals only did 101 points. You can selectively set these things to do 401 points now. So there's a lot of advantages if you want, and I would point you that direction. And that's all that I have, Daron. 80GQ, back to net.
All right, sounds good there, Tom, E0GQ. Yeah, a lot of people have purchased the Nano VNAs. It's a really cheap, fairly cost-effective way to get into vector network analyzers and perform some pretty high-level functionality and testing at a low cost. Some bit of barrier to entry, but a lot of software and firmware revisions out there, and a lot of different alternatives. Firmware and a lot of different versions that allow for different feature sets. So groups.io/g/nano VNA-users. Another great group. We had a presentation by I think one of the original people that had started that when we were still meeting in person a year or so ago. So very great plug there. All right, I'll throw it over to KE0SUM. Jonathan, the net is yours. Go ahead.
Thanks, Drone. Well, my mind was still working on Michelle's problem. And I was curious with her 70 if she'd had also put in a number of other repeaters and if they all acted the same way, or if it might be just a coverage issue. I mean, has she tried any other repeaters, I guess? Has she programmed them or ever gotten to use them? So, Michelle, if you're still listening, we'd love to know. KE0SUM.
Great question there, Jonathan. Yeah, just some baseline information there too. Yeah. Have you had any repeaters that you're able to connect to? Not sure. Their reply is haven't tried any other repeaters. Program them in though. Definitely try. People say don't kerchunk, don't just key up the repeater, but a good way to know if you are able to hit a repeater is if you're able to push to talk and then you hear back either some tones or some voice backs that indicates a successful connection. So if you don't want to have to make any conversation, just try to key up and see if it comes back with anything. You definitely should be within range of some repeaters within the Westminster area. So just make sure, just some of the basics. The receive frequency, the send frequency. Looks pretty bare here. As well as any offset that's needed, offset or PL tone required to transmit. You should be able to get in. So yeah, that's a good base question there. So try programming in some repeaters if you can. I don't know if you have any programming software like Chirp or I'm forgetting. RT Systems is a really good programming software as well. Make it a lot easier. So yeah, good question there. Yeah, definitely don't hesitate to keep letting us know, Michelle, and hopefully we hear you on the air. All right, this is Net Control, K1DBC. We also had a check-in online. John, KE0GPR, thanks for checking in. I might have one or two more things, but I'll throw it out to the net. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the moment, please call now.
KG5 PDF.
Yeah, KG5 PDF. Jake, go ahead.
Well, I realize there's all sorts of resources on the interweb, but thought it might be worth to throw out to the group to kick around and see what the experiences are building a roll-up J-pole dual band. I believe is possible. I was down at HRO and picked up some ladder line, and while I was getting a few other things, and just thought I might see what if anybody's built one, and then what some of their observations might be.
Great question there, KG5 PDF. Yeah, I don't know. Just really quickly looking up some instructions here provided by, I don't know who at the moment, but building a J-pole roll-up antenna, and it sounds like it's probably a good use in Aries as well. Anybody have anything on that? Looks like they're pointing to a kit here, 52 inches long, 2 dB of gain, 2 meters, and 1 dB on 440. It includes 10 feet of flexible, high-quality RG8X, coax termination, PL259, can handle up to 50 watts, 30 ohm, 8-gauge stranded copper weld, twin lead. Yeah, just looking at some basic build instructions here. I haven't built one myself. I know we've, or maybe the Aries group I was with recently, Arapahoe Aries, talking about using lead line, twin lead to build that. But does anybody have any questions or comments on that? Have you ever built a roll-up J-pole or have any information on that? Go ahead.
A0GQ.
Yeah, A0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
Yes, I have. They are not difficult. The only thing that you need to do is you really do want to have probably an SWR meter, because the only tricky thing is figuring out where the tap goes on that on the line itself. Because that depends a little bit upon the environment more than anything, but it's not such a big hairy deal. You can find these things all over the web as far as directions go. One thing that you have to be careful about is you've got 450, and because that's what your ladder line is, that is not the same as twin lead, so you can't cheat and use the directions for twin lead. Sorry about that. But you can find it all over the place, and they're actually quite simple to build. And as long as I mean, I'm probably I'm probably being a little too anal by saying you need to have an SWR meter, because if you're even close to someone's decent directions, you're not going to have any problem. Does that help? A0GQ.
Roger, Roger. Yeah, wish I'd even thought about it beforehand. Yeah, looking at Daron's video here, that is not 450 ohm. So, oh well, it's just not too expensive. But yeah, that was kind of my direction there, was slowly trying to get involved with, getting introduced to the Aries group, and yeah, it's real handy for having something portable. Appreciate it.
Ron, if I could add?
Yeah, sounds good there, KG5 PDF. Yeah, glad to hear all that. Yeah, A0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
Go ahead. Your 450 is fine. Don't worry about that. In fact, you're better off probably with 450, because the 300 ohm twin lead is darned hard to find anymore, unfortunately. And when you do find it, it's kind of expensive. So you probably are doing just fine with the 450. Doesn't matter that much at all. Yes, they are natively dual band. That is to say, it'll do 2 meter and 70 centimeter. If you look up Ed Fong on the web, he has a fancier version of a J-pole that basically puts a trap halfway up so that you get better low angle transmission on 468. I'm sorry, on 70 centimeter stuff. But they're very, very good antennas. They're actually half waves, so the gain on that thing is generally about 2.1 dBi. So, you know, you got some reasonable gain there. And if you look at the video, because I can tell you are, you can see that it's the good old K0OG is busy using an antenna analyzer. That wouldn't be a bad thing. You can borrow one of those from somebody without too much trouble, even me, or even a Nano VNA, come to think of it, and use that to scan it. They work real well. I think you'd be very pleased with it. By the way, technically, as I said, it's an in-fed half-wave, in case anybody asks you. A0GQ.
Roger, Roger. Yes, sir. They are kind of long, aren't they? I appreciate it there. And yeah, I actually have that same MSJ analyzer. Picked it up at the Swap Fest all of about 3 days after I finally broke down and ordered a VNA. So I was like, well, we'll see here. And anyway, that VNA is working out really good. So yeah, if anybody would really like to borrow one, I would also be willing to loan that one out. They're built like a brick, and actually I prefer it if I'm hunting for one band outside at the base of the antenna or something. They're really handy, easy to see outside. So yeah, appreciate the comments, guys. KG5 PDF.
All right, KG5 PDF. This is K1WC Net Control. All right, sounds good there. Thanks there, PDF. Tommy is your GQ for the follow-up there. Yeah, J-poles, some of this stuff isn't too terribly difficult, and even just a kit that you can buy to put it together really isn't all that expensive. Yeah, K0OG, Dave Kassler always has plenty of content. I don't know. He keeps churning it out every day, and always lots of questions, lots of answered questions, and how to build J-pole with twin lead. Ask Dave number 42. This is from January 2017, and he goes through a kit that he had bought online, and this was from an Aries group. Kind of instructions. It looks like amateur radio supplies. You can buy one of these for about $21. A J-pole kit for 2 meter and 440. So plenty of options out there. Another soldering kit, if you will, but provides an actual antenna. So you'll work with wireline and be able to produce a roll-up J-pole antenna. Very cool. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I don't see anybody indicated else, any other traffic at the moment. Michelle, if you're still around, sounds like K0TX might be happy to try doing some testing if you like. Let's see what else. I'll throw it out to the net. I think I have maybe one more thing, but I'll probably start wrapping things up here. But anyone else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net this evening, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think just the last couple of things here. This is K1DBC. Over on RTL-SDR.com. If you have any interest in software-defined radio, news, and projects, plenty of information on there. More talking about other presentations that were given. The HamSci 2021 virtual workshop. They are an organization dedicated to citizen radio science, and specifically the publicity and promotion of projects that advance scientific research and understanding through amateur radio activities. Back in March, they held their HamSci 2021 workshop online, and the videos from the presentations and posters are now all available on their YouTube. Most of the presentations were released back in June, but the poster talks were just released a few days ago. Talks to include personal space weather station projects, upgrade on Tangerine SDR, so more info on their YouTube, HamSci 2021, HAMSCI 2021 for more info on that. This is K1DBC Net Control. Last but not least, again, a nice podcast, relaxing. I like to listen to hackaday.com podcast. They kind of just speak about some of the top stories and news. So one of the top contributing editors, and I forget the lead editor, Mike Sizik and Elliot Williams, look back on a great week of hardware hacking. What a time to be alive when you can use open source tools to decode signals from a probe that has long since left our solar system. They admire two dirt cheap builds, one to measure current draw in mains power, another to mill small parts with great precision, for only a few bucks. A display built from a few hundred 7-segment modules begs the question, who says pixels need to be the same size? They jaw on the concept of autonomous electric cargo ships and marvel at the challenges of hitting an asteroid with a space probe. All that, and they didn't even mention GLaDOS from Portal 2 as a personal assistant robot. So, really cool podcast. Just nice dulcet voices. 45 minutes to an hour or so. Just talking about a lot of things you might be interested. So, hackaday.com. You can find their podcast on any typical podcatcher app that you have or whatever you're using. So, Hackaday podcast. With that, folks, I think we're just about done. Let me know if you have anything else you want to bring up here in the chat. I'll let it come up here. Let's see. So what else? This is K1DBC Net Control. I think that's about it for this evening that I have. Again, Michelle Shorter, if you'd like. It sounds like Jonathan KE0SUM might be able to help you out. I was going to say you can stay in the YouTube chat, but I need to leave it live. I don't have a really good place to have any text chat after it ends, unfortunately. Definitely we have help for you, and we can try to help you out as much as we can. See, Tom says A0GQ decoupling stub turns the J-pole into a half-wave for 70 centimeters. So nice last few comments there. So I'll throw it out to the net. Any other last-minute comments, questions, check-ins, let us know. 145.280. Okay. Yeah, hopefully if you could do simplex or something, you can at least hear each other. Let me see here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. This will be the final call. Any other last-minute check-ins for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I will go ahead and start to wrap things up here. Let me bring up our club's page. More info on our club at W0TX.org, Whiskey 0 Tango X-ray.org for the Denver Radio Club. Again, last week we had our club meeting and officer elections, which had some new people to the board, which is awesome. Our next meeting is going to be October 20th, 7 p.m., so mark your calendar for that. Let's see. This is a fairly casual net. We're more than happy to take any comments, questions, check-ins at any given time online. DRC Learning Net at gmail.com. Groups.io/G/Ham Learning Net. Again, we also stream and archive our nets and meetings on youtube.com. You can search for our club's call sign, W0TX, or my call sign, K1DBC, and you should be able to find those on there. So if you missed the nets, another question here. Yeah, you mentioned it at the beginning. I forgot about that. Tom A0GQ had a question here. Let me drop here for a moment. He was asking if the DRC Elmer committee has in-person meetings. I don't even know if they meet at all. The only meetings that I know of is our tech committee meeting, which happens at the same time as our Elmers session during the Elmers session during the Wednesday night meeting, and then potentially another meeting. Anybody on the net have any information on that? Does anybody know if the W0TX Denver Radio Club potentially have any information on the Denver Radio Club Elmer committee in their meetings, if it happens in person or online? Go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, a lot of our meetings don't seem to be very publicized even to begin with, unfortunately. Or some of those committee meetings, excuse me. I'll have to ask Fred on that, because that is a good question. I didn't even know that it existed. So yeah, I'll find that out and let you know on that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'm trying to post up information on Discord just in case people have access to that, know how to log into that. You can chat offline. So yeah, I'll start to wrap things up here. Again, very casual net. You're more than welcome to join us at any time. We're more than happy to take Elmers at any given time. You don't have to be an expert on anything, and it comes with no strings attached. There's no responsibility for it, so I'm more than happy to check in any time there. If you want to host the net, I'm always happy to help you do that. Let's see. Yeah, I can take check-ins for you, or if you want to, however you would like to do it, more than happy to hear more people on the air. We used to put out requests for people to take net control. I might start doing that again more formally. That might just get generate more people in here. But appreciate everyone being there. This evening we had a total of 19 check-ins. Especially appreciate and thank everyone who participated and our Elmers. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use the repeaters for this net. Again, we invite you to join us on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for an Elmer session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7 p.m. This all takes place online currently. We haven't met back up in person just yet. Everyone is welcome to that. Please join us next week, September 29th, 1930 hours, 7:30 p.m. for the next Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. All stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed into normal mode.
PL on.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. This is Daron, K1WC Net Control. Thanks all for joining. Appreciate more presence on YouTube, as always. More chatter in there. So with that, I will put a link to the Denver Radio Club Discord online here. Again, there's very few people. There's no chatter going on in here, but if you know what Discord is and want to join it for text conversation, I just put a link in the chat there. And you can always chat on there. So if you ever want to coordinate things, you can do that. But with that, pleasure being here this evening. Thanks everyone for being here. This is K1WC 7-3 all, and I'll see you all next time. All right. Thank you all again for being here this evening. Michelle, hopefully we get you on the air. Oh, see you in there. Appreciate you being in there. Yeah. Again, I don't really sit on here too much, so, but Jonathan, or if anybody else ever wants to come in and chat, this is just a basic chat program, and you're more than welcome to come in here and hang out. Yeah, and again, this does voice, so I guess during nets, if you can't make it to the repeater, I might try to do a voice via here if you want. So yeah, feel free to coordinate things via here if you want to do any testing over the air. What else? I haven't really done too much officially about it yet, but again, trying to do if any unboxing, or if I want to receive your junk or anything, if you have any electronics kits or anything you want to get rid of, more than happy to mail them to me at my address on the ULS website. So yeah, appreciate everyone being here. I'll give a second or two here to let chat catch up. If anybody has any last minute comments or questions here in the YouTube chat, let me know. But again, appreciate everyone being here. Let's see. Beginning of the net, I did put I was streaming a quick YouTube video from the Hackaday. Let's see here. Ooh, where did that go? Why don't I have that? There are challenges. It's never going to freeze here. Yeah, they're prizes on their robots. So yeah, they do an annual contest for. Of course, it's not going to play right now. Yeah, redefine robots is this
Let you be the
one
judge.
here. So
Thanks
yeah, I played
to an
a quick
OLED
few minutes of
display,
this
there
here.
are plenty of face options. A clever use.
So yeah, I will. All in the net. Yeah, glad to see people here in Discord. I might not be there all the time, but happy to see that. So I'll go ahead and close out the net. Appreciate everyone being here. And we'll see you all next week. Have a good night.
NBC Television.